Hello, friends. Today we're going to discuss a topic that concerns many people, but is often difficult to talk about: the ability to say no. How often have you found yourself agreeing to something you really didn't want to do? How often have you felt guilty for refusing someone? If this sounds like you, then stick around. I'm going to explain how the ability to say no helps establish healthy boundaries, and most importantly, why it's crucial for your well-being. We live in a world where demands are constantly placed on us: our time, attention, and help. Many of us feel that saying no is selfish or rude. But did you know that the inability to refuse is one of the leading causes of stress, burnout, and even the deterioration of relationships with others? So why is it so hard to say no? First, there's the fear of disappointing others. We fear that by saying no, we'll hurt someone's feelings, cause dissatisfaction, or even spark a conflict. This is especially true with close friends, family, and colleagues. Often, we choose to agree just to avoid awkward situations, not realizing that this can harm us in the long run. Second, there's guilt. We feel like we're bad people if we don't meet others' expectations. This internal struggle between what we truly want and what we think others expect from us leads to a constant feeling of guilt and dissatisfaction. And finally, there's the fear of losing approval. Many of us worry that if we start saying no, people will stop loving or respecting us. We strive to be good in the eyes of others, forgetting that our own well-being should come first. When we can't say no, we often end up agreeing to things we really don't want to do. This could be anything from taking on unnecessary projects at work to spending time on activities that don't bring us joy. As a result, we feel tired, burned out, and even resentful of ourselves for not standing up for our own interests. But you know what? Saying no isn't just a right, it's an obligation to yourself. It's a vital step toward respecting your own boundaries and needs. The ability to say no helps us be honest with ourselves and with others, which ultimately strengthens relationships rather than damaging them. Now let's talk about how to actually learn to say no. First, it's essential to realize that your needs are just as important as anyone else's. This doesn't mean you have to be indifferent or selfish, but sometimes you need to put yourself first. Second, start with small refusals. Try saying no in situations where the consequences aren't too significant. It could be something simple, like turning down extra work if you're already swamped. Gradually, you'll find it easier to refuse, and it will become a natural part of your life. The third tip is to use constructive phrases. If it's hard for you to simply say no, try softening the refusal. For example, "Thank you for the offer, but I'm not able to do that right now." Or, "I'd love to help, but I have other priorities at the moment." This approach helps soften the blow and makes the refusal more acceptable to both parties. And now we've arrived at the most important part: setting boundaries. Saying no is the first step, but the true power lies in clearly defining and articulating your boundaries. This means you're not just refusing, but doing so consciously and confidently. You know what is acceptable to you and what isn't, and you're ready to protect those boundaries. Setting boundaries requires not just internal work, but also practice in real situations. When you start defining your boundaries, the people around you might be surprised or even try to challenge them. But over time, they'll get used to it and start respecting your right to make your own decisions. So, friends, the ability to say no is not just a way to protect yourself from unnecessary obligations, but a crucial part of establishing healthy boundaries. When you start respecting your needs, others will begin to do the same. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones.